Hi everyone, my name is Victor and I'm a web developer at Workpay Digital. Today I'm going to make a short video about optimistic rendering. This is usually used in front-end development, but we can also see it when considering database queries on the backend side or longer binary actions that happen in all of development. So let's get right into it. Here I have a very classic example that we have all seen. This is GitHub. We all use it, and little of us and few of us know that GitHub is using optimistic rendering. They're using it on things like starring or watching a repository. So let's see how it works. I'm going to inspect the page and go into the network section. Now, in order to see it, we will have to reduce the speed of our internet connection. So here at throttling, we can use slow 3G. This will make the API call towards the GitHub server take a little bit longer so we can see how optimistic rendering works. Now, what's going to happen? I'm going to click the star action. The UI for the star will already be completed before the server will return a successful response. When I click it, we can see that the star is already started, but the status is pending. Only then, after a few milliseconds, or actually after 2.14 seconds, the status is 200. This means that GitHub knows that this is a binary action that doesn't have a great impact on the flow and that this action is usually successful. So they can actually update the UI and let the user know that his action happened without waiting for the actual response. How can we implement this ourselves? So I used to create a Nuxt project myself that is basically just a feed with meme templates and that have a favorite action. I use the image flip API, and it's basically just one component having a favorite button that is either filled or not. It's pretty simple. When I click the favorite button, one of two things can happen, which is either successfully favoriting the image or failing. I used a 50-50 chance for this to happen so we can see how it works and we can have multiple examples with both until we get the correct option. So I also added a timeout for about 3.5 seconds, and this is because I want to mimic the slower internet connection. So if we wouldn't have optimistic rendering in mind, things would go pretty simple. We would either console log or have an alert for the successful one, and then sending up the favorite button. Or in case of failing, we would just have an alert for the user and tell him that your action failed. So in our case, this is how this would work. I really like this meme. I hit the favorite button and I'm waiting for a long time. And then the server says that it's successful. And only after I click the alert is gonna have the UI update, or I can just put a console log because no one actually has alerts on success. And when I click it again, I'm waiting for a very long time. And in case of successful, it's gonna just update the UI. I'm gonna try again. Let's see. Hopefully, we're gonna also get a fail, so we can show how the user just waits a long time. He maybe scrolled a long time and just then sees he failed. What if I like multiple images and I just keep scrolling? I don't know exactly which one failed. I'm gonna have to go back and see which ones are actually favorited and which ones not. This is a pretty bad UX for the user, and we will have to update this. So there are two options to do this. The first one would be adding a loader. A loader is a pretty good solution for this because in the moment when the user presses it, you can just put show loader, And in the moment the action is done, we can just hide the loader. This will let the user know that his action was registered, but he doesn't know the outcome yet. So when he presses this, the loader will show. He can go forward and just continue doing his thing. But when the action is done, he actually hides the loader and he can see the result. But again, when things fail, this is going to be a pretty rough option. Usually binary actions, we just want to go further. Don't keep the user there. What if some users, when they see the loader, they just stop and wait, what happened to my action, and so on. So we could just do what GitHub does. We could just hide the loader, don't show anything about the loader, and don't show anything about the alert. We could just console log the fail. We could also try to retry this 3 or 4 times or something like that, but if it fails, just let it be, because we will also only try to use optimistic rendering on actions that aren't that important. Let me also delete this. So optimistic rendering would just mean having this dot favorite not favorite, and in case it fails, go back. Okay, so what would happen right now? When the user presses it, the UI automatically updates, and if it fails, it's gonna go back like we see here or here. But if it's gonna be successful, let's hopefully, we're gonna try again. Yeah, this one looks like it was successful. If it's successful, it will stay the same. Of course, it's gonna be really important to only use this in a use case where it's not 50-50. We are gonna have to use it in a case where it's most probably that the action will succeed. This will only be good in actions, as I mentioned before, that do not interrupt the flow and that do not have a high impact or a high chance of failing, because that would mess up the flow for the user. Also, a very important thing, there are some times when the user actually expects for the action to take a little bit. For example, when we have a blog post that we or on an article that we have marked as private and we want to publish it and make it public, the user actually understands if this takes a little bit to distribute to all the clients. So this isn't something that we want to use every time, but on binary actions, it's a pretty easy solution to make everything seem a little bit faster and snappier. And hopefully you'll be aware that you could use this in your next project. Thank you for watching.